The friendly, caring Bobby pounding the beat has always been the hallmark of British policing.
Fantastic.
Pleasure's been all mine, my friend.
And has even been immortalised on film by the fictional Dixon of Dock Green.
Good evening, all.
Today's neighbourhood police teams continue that tradition, but also tackle the root causes of crime head-on by targeting known hotspots,
Unlucky.
stamping down on antisocial behaviour,
I'm arresting you for a public order offence.
and waging war on illegal drugs.
I can smell cannabis already.
In this new series of Neighbourhood Blues, we follow the police men and women of Somerset as they continue their quest to make our streets a safer place. Coming up, a suspected burglar has undercover cops risking their lives
This lad's on the roof.
in a rooftop pursuit. Weston-super-Mare gets a special new bus.
Ambulance are just stocking up all their bits and pieces. If there's problems tonight, we're ready to deal with it.
That's quickly helping deal with late-night revellers.
Up here.
And neighbourhood officer Jen Atkinson
Now I'm ready to wage my war on drugs.
leads a raid on a suspected drugs den.
Safe than sorry. We're going to seize that and get it tested.
Local council CCTV systems are an invaluable tool for the neighbourhood police, as well as monitoring the streets and providing recorded footage for evidence in police investigations. They come into their own when tracking down a suspect on the run. In Weston-super-Mare, Sergeant Colin Batchelor has just begun his shift. Overnight, there have been two break-ins, which are believed to be related. A victim at one of the properties has reported that 3 youths were involved.
So I've come in this morning to one attempt burglary and a further burglary on the neighbourhood here in Weston. One certainly involving an imitation firearm which has been recovered from the scene. And one individual has been arrested.
Police have also recovered £25,000 worth of luxury items and cash taken from one of the properties. But there are still 2 suspects on the loose.
Those descriptions have been passed to our local CCTV that covers a wide area of the town centre. So I'm hoping at some point today we get a report confirming that these individuals are in or around the town centre.
In Weston-super-Mare, the council CCTV control room patches directly through to Somerset Police. And last year, these CCTV cameras were involved in 624 arrests. The control room has just got in touch with the neighbourhood team.
We seem to have picked up individuals in the town centre matching the description of the suspects for a burglary.
Incident's been higher up on the M5.
It was CCTV operator Chris Fields who raised the alarm.
We've got very good coverage around the whole town centre in Weston. So they went from one camera onto another, so we managed to follow them around the corner.
Although there are 3 youths, the one on the right isn't under suspicion.
We've only got them on camera at the minute. We've got uniform response on their way. One of them seems to be on a bike.
CCTV is keeping them in sight. And with the police station just around the corner from the high street, the youths should be stopped within seconds. The lad on the bike is of particular interest, as Colin has had dealings with him in the past, and a description goes out to all the neighbourhood team.
It's white male, glasses, short, brownish hair, grey joggers.
Police are only moments away. While waiting for their friend who's gone into a shop, the one on the bike perhaps spots an officer ahead and dives down an alley.
We've got both ends of that alleyway covered, so we're able to say he's in there somewhere. He's either still in the alleyway or he's entered a building
is he's gone to ground somewhere behind the main drag here. So units are just cordoning off the scene, trying to cut off all the alleyways. Once we can do that and contain it, then we've got a real chance of flushing them out.
The other suspect heads out of town and police catch up with him later. But flushing out the one who's gone down the alley might be harder than Colin thinks, as he hasn't emerged from the other end and he's abandoned his bike.
Possibility is obviously that he could have got into a building. There are commercial premises down there that he can go into, which would be fairly easy to check, but if he's gone into a private property, then that's going to be more troublesome.
But the suspect hasn't gone into any kind of building.
Yeah, 6-3, up on the roof, sparking up.
He somehow managed to get up onto a roof.
Where do you think he is? He's gone up
Up here.
stairs. Basically, the bloke said he just literally legged it across, up this way, and all the way along the top.
How's he got across? Can we not get across the top then?
Colin hopes he can get more detail from a local resident who saw the suspect shin up onto the roofs.
Hi fella, sorry to bother you, mate. This lady's gone straight over here, has he?
Yeah, he walked across the roof on that side. Yeah, this one here.
Yes. Yeah.
Across there.
Or across that roof?
Yeah.
By risking his safety, the lad's obviously desperate not to be caught. But with a fake gun already retrieved, police are unsure whether more weapons are involved. Playing it safe, the firearms unit have been called in.
We've had literally everybody come out the station, surround this area quickly. I mean, we're here within minutes. And the benefit of that is that wherever he is, he's been unable to move. But he's gone to ground here, and we'll stay put for a while and try and flush him out.
An undercover officer follows the fleeing suspect's trail across the rooftops to try and catch up with him.
Take it easy.
Colin is reluctant to try free running himself, as it's a 30-foot drop.
Drop down there somewhere.
Down there?
Yeah. Is that possible?
Yeah, that same system.
No.
Then CCTV gets a sighting.
This lad's on the roof. Gav's flushed him out. He's heading in that direction.
The suspect seems to have no fear of heights as he leaps across buildings. And Colin tries to get a better view.
Later to come out in the area of the post office.
We're walking across the roof, back towards the NCC garden.
89, we've got him on camera. CCTV and monitoring.
With the undercover officer close behind and nowhere left to run to, the youth makes a desperate move.
Yeah, we're going to negotiate, I think.
Let's see from control.
Yeah, he said he isn't going to come down. He's threatening to say wall jump.
The situation has turned from a chase down back alleys to a dramatic rooftop pursuit where there's very real danger.
He's approximately 30 feet and he's climbing up to the next one on the junction of Orchard Street.
Officers try to talk him down while they wait for the negotiator. It's a delicate situation and tension is high. We'll find out later how the neighbourhood team deal with the suspect who's threatening to jump. Living in a street where someone is using or peddling drugs can be a nightmare ordeal. Not surprisingly, as it often gives rise to other kinds of crime and antisocial behaviour. So listening to residents' complaints about it and acting quickly is a priority for the neighbourhood police.
People are aware of it as an issue, and when it comes to their doorstep, when they see their neighbours affected, when they see their children, their family affected, that is when they come to us and quite frankly expect and should expect action. And that is when we're robust, as best as we can be to take that action.
If I live next to a drug user, I would probably move. If it's affecting your family and it's affecting the people around you and your community, then I feel like it's an issue.
People were going in and out, and there's constantly noise, there's constantly people shouting and they're getting wasted or drunk. There's nobody feels safe.
In Bridgewater, Beat manager Jen Atkinson is investigating complaints about a property where people are suspected of using illegal drugs. Neighbours have had enough of the occupants' all-night parties and cars coming and going into the small hours. Jen is working to see if she can collect enough evidence to apply to the courts for a misuse of drugs warrant to enter and search the property. And today she's going to the area to look for any suspicious vehicles.
We've got a list of registrations that are frequenting our address.
A car belonging to a known drug user is parked outside the property.
That is one of the vehicles that's quite a persistent caller at the address. It never stays very long, only sort of 5 or 10 minutes, I think, isn't it? Here and do a little turn around and go again.
It's all good information for Jen's warrant application. It's 1 month later, and Jen's meticulous groundwork has paid off. She now has a misuse of drugs warrant.
Right, morning all.
Although Jen's attended many drugs warrants in the past,
but as you approach
this
the property,
is the first one she has actually investigated and been granted herself.
Most of the people that are related to the address usually do have some sort of conviction for weapons, assaults, knives. So, off the safety side of it, just get in, cuff whoever the hell's in there, and then we'll take it from there. Lovely job, thank you very much.
It's a big day for her. Jen's done all the preparation she can and is confident today will be a success.
Now I'm ready to wage my war on drugs.
The plan is to park around the corner from the address to avoid being spotted.
Right, we're going up here, round the corner, then left. There's a car park, and we'll get in there. So, everybody ready to go for a jog?
Now it all steps up a pace. With a warrant, police have the right to enter a property without invitation.
Police officers!
The operation has been planned early in the hope that the occupants will still be asleep.
The police, get up. Swing yourself round.
All right, fella, do you live here? You know, I was going to come and visit.
There are 3 people in the property, 2 men and a woman.
We've got into the address. Everybody was in bed like we hoped, or in the kitchen in bed. Now that we've got things settled, we'll bring you into the lounge.
Yeah.
We'll just do a quick search you first, and then we'll go from there. All right?
Yeah, that's fine.
All 3 suspects are strip searched.
Yeah, well.
But nothing is found.
Because of all the comings and goings from your address, we've been to court and we've got a warrant, hence why we're here today. Is there anything you want to tell us now about where anything may be?
No.
The occupants are denying that they have any drugs, but there's plenty of drug use evidence lying around.
This is what they'll burn it in. So it obviously comes in powder, they burn it up so that it's an injectable. Needles and all of this, it's just paraphernalia. Good for intelligence to say, well, actually, clearly there is drug use going on at this address, but nothing actual illegal about it.
Although no drugs have been found yet, a 12-inch machete and a toy gun are discovered in the living room.
So whose is this? The big old machete and the gun?
The toy gun is my son's thing.
Right.
boys will be boys.
Then a shocking discovery. Hidden behind a mattress, an enormous machete. And with cling film wrapped around both machetes and the toy gun, it's likely no one wants their DNA left behind.
It's if it gets used for wrongness, then whip it off and help keep fingerprints off. Yeah, so we'll be taking them with us.
It's not very good to have that in here. So if I get you to sign it away, we'll take that with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same with the toy gun as well.
Yeah, carry on.
And with no illegal substances turning up, the Neighbourhood team may be too late, as it appears there was a party last night.
If you want. Laughing gas party, did we?
Yeah, laughing gas, weed,
wow,
alcohol.
Been nossing of you.
The empty containers usually hold nitrous oxide, and inhaling the gas is known as nossing.
Helium canisters, laughing gas, whatever you want to call it. It's a legal way of getting a little bit of a buzz. So they've had a party last night and obviously gone through quite a few of them.
While officers continue the search of the flat, Neighbourhood PCSOs hand out leaflets and speak to concerned locals and dispel their worries.
People that have provided the intelligence today, they know us, they trust us, and obviously now I've spoken to them, like they can actually see that the information that they provided to us has been acted on. From what I've heard today, they're quite pleased with what we're doing.
At the property, there's a result. Cannabis has been found under the washing machine in the kitchen, but no one is owning up to it.
Cannabis user?
Used to be, yes. Yes.
So is this going to be yours?
Oh, no, it's not. No.
He's been clean since he's been here.
That's why I put on a lot of weight and everything.
Because you were the one sleeping in that room.
Everybody goes in there.
Right, but you were found in there this morning when we've come in and that's been concealed, so I'm going to need to speak to you about it as well. Same deal.
The man will be interviewed later. But more immediately, something's found which supports Jen's months of investigation. A syringe containing a suspicious substance.
Well, because we can't be sure what is in it. Safe than sorry, we're going to seize that and get it tested. It might just be congealed blood, it might be heroin that hasn't got around to being used yet, that needs to be heated up again and injected, so we'll take that. Is that your bedroom?
Yes, that's my bedroom, yeah.
Right. So at the moment then, you're going to be the one that I'm going to speak to about it.
Right, yeah, that's fine.
You'll be voluntary interviewed, so I'll take you back to the station once we're done here just to get it over and done with.
Yeah.
Get your account of what's gone on.
Yeah.
Obviously the stuff's going to go off for testing and we'll DNA it and all that sort of stuff.
And they get used and it's...
Today's action shows that the Neighbourhood team can be relied upon to listen to people's concerns and do what they can to make them feel safe. Jen's hard work has paid off. The substance in the syringe was heroin, mixed with traces of blood, the woman's blood. As it was her first offence, she received a caution. Ownership of the cannabis couldn't be proved, and the two men weren't arrested. The machetes and toy gun were seized and eventually destroyed. There are approaching 6 million CCTV cameras in the UK. That's around 1 for every 10 inhabitants. Weston-super-Mare, like many towns and cities, boasts a sophisticated CCTV system with cameras that are monitored 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Today, the operators are helping police investigating a pair of nighttime burglaries. Stolen items and a fake firearm have been recovered, and one suspect is already in custody. But 2 other suspects were spotted earlier, walking with a friend in the high street. After giving the police the slip, one of the 2 has been followed by CCTV onto a rooftop, where he's now threatening to jump.
The suspect has moved
further along across the roofs onto an apex of the roof and potentially quite a precarious and dangerous situation.
The lad's trapped, and the only way is down. CCTV cameras are watching from all angles.
Your heart certainly starts pounding when he climbs up there, because you don't know whether he's going to jump or whether he's going to be talked down.
Inevitably, as with many police incidents, it's drawing a crowd, and police need to keep the public as far removed as possible.
We've had to take the scene off, keep it sterile, preserve the scene until we know exactly what's happening.
He's contained. There's only one way this is going to end. You just hope it's going to end safely.
We've called in a hostage negotiator, and our firearms support have also been here to lend a hand in the immediate negotiations.
The suspect's now on the move, but police have a secret weapon. An undercover officer who's been following him on the rooftops.
One of my colleagues has managed to start the dialogue with him up on the roof. The main concern here will be the officer's safety originally, the public safety, and our suspect's safety.
Is he carrying anything? Does he look like he's got a weapon?
No, negative. He looks fairly downtrodden and resigned to the fact. I think it's just a case of giving some time. They seem to be in deep conversation at the minute.
Yeah, is he actually sat with him or not?
Yes, they are both sat together.
After a nail-biting 20 minutes, there seems to be some headway.
Yeah, I'm just watching the pair of them. It does look like they are slowly moving down towards the ground. I can't see the suspect now. I've only got the officer. I'm getting a thumbs up. Looks like they are making their way down to the ground, but that needs to be confirmed.
And it is confirmed it's all over. No weapon, and thanks to the undercover officer, no need for the negotiator.
Action, he's come down voluntarily. So, the bottom line to all that is, one is in custody. Quite clearly it's caused chaos here. We've had to stop the bus routes, we've had to stop the traffic on one of the main thoroughfares going through Weston-super-Mare. It was going to end here today. We were just hoping it would end the way it did, and it's safe, and that nobody's hurt or injured.
The CCTV unit was key in locating and tracking the suspect, but after investigations, there was no evidence that the youth was involved in the burglaries. The youth originally arrested at one of the burglaries has been charged and was given 4 months imprisonment for handling stolen goods. The other suspect, seen walking out of town, pleaded guilty to receiving stolen goods and was given a community order. Still to come. A new member joins the Neighbourhood team in Weston.
To actually see her here is, it just makes me really proud, and it's fantastic to see her, and I can't wait to use her this weekend.
And Cheddar Gorge is alive with the sound of motors. Policing high-risk areas like town centres at night is a major task for the neighbourhood teams. Drunken revellers often stretch them to the limit. To make the job easier, they've come up with an innovative way of combining resources with other agencies like the ambulance service, which is proving highly effective in solving crime problems and keeping people safe. For years, Weston-super-Mare has been a magnet for weekend clubbers and partygoers. But it's putting an ever-increasing strain on the emergency services. And breaking up fights and mopping up drunks ties up their valuable resources. Inspector Sharon Bennett and the neighbourhood team have been working tirelessly with the council and other agencies to find an answer to the problem. And they've come up with a vehicle specifically designed to be a hub for police, ambulance, street wardens and other local agencies who deal with Weston's nighttime population.
That should be a valuable asset, I think, for the town.
You're underplaying it, aren't you?
When we first met as a group, I think there was consensus around the table that everybody wanted that the old Street Safe bus was a success. We should bring it back. Howard pulled together the bid, and we got substantial funding for what is going to be a really good bus.
During the day, the bus will be used as a resource for engaging with local people and showcased at special events. But there's still one important thing everyone has to agree on: the name.
I think the latest name is possibly Mavis, multi-agency vehicle in service, but again, not 100% sure about that. We'll see about that one.
The name's stuck, and Mavis is being launched today. She's no shrinking violet, and Sharon is thrilled.
Cool. We have an awning. We have an awning that comes out. So the idea is it's really accessible. The doors are going to be open. People are going to be able to see that we're open for business.
The bus has been custom built to fit everyone's needs, and Sharon's particularly impressed with the medical room, where paramedics can carry out minor first aid.
This is really, really good in here. As you can see, there's a reclinable bench in there where ambulances can treat people. And not necessarily treat people, it might be someone who's just a bit worse for wear, vulnerable. We can just take them in here, close the door, talk to them confidentially. It's nice and safe because there's a panic button. If I hit that, the alarm goes off, which is nice and audible.
Mavis is a one-stop shop, open to anyone who's feeling vulnerable on their night out. Whether they want to report a crime, need medical attention, or simply want to call a taxi if their mobiles run out of battery.
The idea is it reduces demand across the agencies, but also it's that visible beacon to say you're safe. And to actually see her here is, it just makes me really proud, and it's fantastic to see her, and I can't wait to use her this weekend.
The weekend has arrived, and Mavis is finally open for business.
Oh, look, the awning's out. Cool. Woohoo.
Sharon gets everyone on board for a briefing.
Come on in, guys. Come on down. If you need the ambulance, just call up on NightNet for 99 for Jem and myself, and then we can get ambulance to you straight away.
You can ring 999 as well,
Yeah,
and it'll get bounced back to us.
Yeah, and that's the idea really, to try and encourage people to be treated here so that they don't get called, go home and then call ambulance or go to local A&E, and so the idea is we can do it here and then. But yeah, guys, if you just encourage people to come in the bus and have a look around. Right, cheers, thank you.
With hospitals struggling to cope with over 1 million alcohol-related admissions each year, tonight, medical staff aboard Mavis are hoping to reduce unnecessary demand on emergency calls.
Ambulance are just stocking up all their bits and pieces. Licensing are going to go out and check the licensed premises to make sure they're all behaving themselves, to encourage them to serve people responsibly. And we're all here ready. If there's problems tonight, we're ready to deal with it.
Pubs and clubs are big business for Weston, and although the mood is merry, Wayne Hughes, a veteran of 26 years, knows that alcohol-fueled nights can quickly turn ugly.
We've probably got up to 150 people on the street. At the moment, it's fairly good humoured, but that could change at any stage, and then we're left to pick up the pieces.
As the night draws on, more people spill out onto the streets, and it's Wayne's job to keep an eye out for any antisocial behaviour.
Yeah, you're not allowed in the street with a glass.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to go back in there.
Okay.
All right.
It's past midnight, and while Wayne deals with drinkers, Mavis is proving a hit with the ambulance staff.
We're just dealing with minor injuries, lacerations when people have stepped on glass, results of altercations on premises, intoxicated patients. The facilities are fantastic, so apart from critically unwell patients, we can deal with most things here.
While there's a sense of calm on board, suddenly, right outside, there's a commotion.
You just punched someone. Why?
Someone is shouting to stop a youth who's running. It's not apparent why, but cops act straight away and bring him down.
Just calm down.
Find out why later. An essential role in our neighbourhood teams is that of the PCSO. By regularly interacting with the public, these support officers listen to and act on people's concerns about their neighbourhood.
They'll work with other agencies as well and problem solve, and they get more time to do what's important for the local community, so they don't necessarily work on those big priorities of national objectives. They'll work on local issues, which make people feel safer.
One of the most cowardly crimes in today's world is that against the vulnerable, especially the elderly, and this is where PCSOs come into their own. Nicola Mitchell has been a PCSO in Weston-super-Mare for the past 3 years, and her mission has always been to help people.
My main aim for my beat is for people to live a quiet, safe, happy life. I want them to see me and be able to approach me, feel comfortable, come in to speak to me about any kind of issues. It's the most important thing is to get to know your community, being part of the Neighbourhood beat team, because if you don't know your community, then you're not doing your job.
Joining Nicola on her beat today is Inspector Sharon Bennett.
I need to go and see because...
Oh, what happened?
Oh, nothing's happened. He's just confused about a letter. Right, I'm ready.
Cool.
Have you got a car?
Yeah, I've got a car.
Their first priority is to check up on one of Nicola's elderly residents, whose confidence was completely shattered after he was the victim of a theft a few months ago.
He's a very frail old man. He went into hospital and his gardener was going into his property, taking his bank card and stealing his money.
I gave him my banking card to get my shopping and, well, draw money out for me so as I had money in my wallet. But he was drawing money at the same time out for himself.
Before the theft, the man was a cheerful character, regularly seen around town. But these days, he stays fairly close to home.
He's not in.
But he hasn't gone far. A neighbour has taken him out for a stroll.
We can always track you down. You can't escape.
You all right then? I'm glad you've got out.
Not too bad.
Good.
I left my window open.
But apart from
Yes,
that...
we've seen your window, yeah.
I'm miserable now.
No, you're not. You've got out in the sunshine. That's what
Smile.
matters, isn't it? Yeah. That's it. See.
Smile.
That's the first time you've seen this smile for a while, isn't it?
Probably.
Getting a smile back on
That's
the
why I go and
man's
see
face
you.
has been a slow
That's why
process
I
for
go and see you and
Nicola,
nag
who's
you.
visited him every day since his gardener stole from him.
And the work that Nicola did was outstanding. I appreciate that. What she does in the community, she's there to hear people's, if they've got any anxiety, to attend to them. And she does that brilliantly.
Do you want to make yourselves a cup of tea?
No, thank you. Do you want one?
Nicola's meeting Joan from the local drop-in centre, who was instrumental in getting
Who's that
the man
walking?
to report the crime.
He felt secure because I was there until Nicola managed to establish friendship with him. And we were able to get him to talk because he wouldn't talk. He was frightened.
He was so scared of the man that he didn't want to do an interview or anything like that because he was scared that the man was going to come and hurt him.
The victim didn't want to go to court to give evidence, so Nicola's plan was to get him to record his testimony.
Nicola got me to make a tape. When he went to the magistrate court, the magistrate had it and played it, and he admitted to it. He admitted to what he had stolen out of my account.
The thief stole £1,000 from the man, which he was ordered to pay back. He was also given a 6-month prison sentence, suspended for 2 years and electronically tagged for 6 months, which means he's still in the area and the victim's still anxious.
All right?
Thanks very much.
That's all right. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Okay,
Thanks
be
very
careful.
much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. I think he does get nervous about what's happened. He does start shaking when he starts thinking about things. But I think in time we can get him back out and get him back to normal. And that's my mission.
Yeah, well, he's only because he's young, isn't he?
Nicola's mission hasn't gone unnoticed.
Very recently, I nominated Nicola Mitchell for an award. She works in the world community of Weston, and I was very proud to nominate her for an award for some work she did with a vulnerable victim of crime.
And now Nicola is a well-deserved recipient of a Pride Award.
I didn't think that I was going above and beyond what was expected of me. As far as I was aware, I was just doing my job and felt like I needed to help in every possible way that I could. It was a surprise, and yeah, it was really nice. I felt proud.
In Weston, Mavis, the multi-agency support bus, is still open for business in the town centre. Neighbourhood officers and paramedics are dealing with petty crimes and minor injuries, resulting from people getting a bit out of hand on their night out. Earlier, outside the bus, police stopped a youth from running away. Inspector Sharon Bennett saw what happened.
And I saw this chap here literally run from behind a group and just literally do a flying kick and start punching him for no reason. And so I just shouted, "Oi, stop," or whatever, and then he just ran this way. I shouted, "Just stop him."
The suspect is a boy, just 15 years old, and it appears his target was two men he thinks attacked him earlier. But there's no immediate proof of this. The boy is still struggling and needs to be turned over to be cuffed.
Why are you breathing so fast? So calm down then. Okay, well, do you want to sit up? Right, we'll let the officers cuff you there, and then you can sit up and be cool, yeah?
All of a sudden, he's taken a violent dislike to being restrained.
You said you'd be sent.
You what? You come on then now. Get off of me! What are you doing?
Right, whoa.
Get off of me now.
Just
get off of me! Stop banging your head. Get off of me! No, listen to me. Get off of me! Calm down. Get off!
The officers are concerned for his and their safety, and his legs are strapped to stop him kicking out.
We're making already.
We're going to need what? Just calm down, yeah? We're going to carry you to the van. 1, 2, 3.
4 times, yeah?
Despite being bound hand and foot, the boy is still making life very difficult for the cops, with his head.
Stop headbutting the bench. Get me out of here now. I just want to get out. Let me get out. I want some fresh air.
Right, let's get about then.
To prevent further distress, police call for a larger vehicle so an officer can sit with him on his way to custody.
Can we have the PSU carrier ASAP, please?
For all of us, aren't we?
Meanwhile, the Neighbourhood team are on Mavis, taking statements from victims and witnesses of the attack.
Officers are able to get in the dry, in the light, take their details, and been given out bottles of water to keep people happy. We're able to photograph injuries in the light and everything. And actually, the injuries aren't too serious, but ambulance are here, so if they were, they could be treated as well. So, perfect use for Mavis.
Back on the street, police have been waiting for the large police van to arrive.
Right, come on then, bud. All right, on your feet. 1, 2, 3.
And the boy now goes quietly to the custody suite.
What am I arrested for again?
Assault at the moment.
I'm prosecuted for it as well.
Prioritising safety, whether it's for a victim or a suspect, is a vital skill for any officer.
You could see that he was banging his head against the ground. Well, obviously he's going to cause himself injury, so we have to protect the head. And that's why officers were seen to hold his head to the floor to prevent him from causing damage. Also, prevent his escape, really. He's in custody, he's been detained.
The teenager's attack on the men was put down to mistaken identity, and he later pleaded guilty to assault. He was given a 12-month referral order and had to pay £185 in costs and compensation. The night's drawing to a close, and for Sharon, Mavis has proved a valuable member of the neighbourhood team.
Mavis has been used to a fantastic amount of success. We've had 6 patients treated by ambulance on board, a variation of walk-ups, several treble 9 calls that were made that have saved ambulances being called into town centre. They're really pleased, and I'm over the moon as well.
It sounds as if the neighbourhood team's newest recruit has a bright future. Beat manager Jen Atkinson takes the concerns of the locals on her patch very seriously. Whatever the grievance, she and her team will investigate. Today, Jen is following up complaints from residents living in Cheddar Village. They've had enough of the disruption caused by certain drivers visiting the famous Cheddar Gorge, the nearby beauty spot.
Car enthusiasts like to gather in the car parks up and down the gorge, which is all right, but then there's a minority of them that like to race up and down the gorge.
Every weekend, hundreds of petrol heads congregate here to show off their treasured vehicles. But the genuine enthusiasts amongst them are being tarnished by the few that misbehave. For the villagers, noise and excessive speed are the main concerns. Recently, the local newspaper, the Cheddar Valley Gazette, reported on the story and captured some of the drivers on a mobile using the gorge as a racetrack.
This is becoming a big problem for the local residents. They're getting a bit fed up of it now, so it's just for us to go and show a bit of police presence and deal with the few that like to drive inconsiderately.
The real worry for the police is that if drivers ignore the law, there could be a serious accident. Jen and Special Constable Ben Grieve are approaching the gorge, but before they get there, a vehicle ahead catches their eye.
Car appeared to be going a little bit faster than he should be around that corner then, and he's also not got a front number plate on.
The neighbourhood team's work also involves engaging with young drivers to promote road safety, and Ben has a chat with 2 lads in the vehicle.
And you've obviously decided to come out driving with no front registration plate, all right? No. A front registration plate, so you're aware, needs to be mounted on the front of your car.
Placing the plate on the dashboard isn't enough, and it's an offence that could see the driver face a fine of up to £1,000.
He's just been given a ticket now to take it to a garage, get it fixed. It gets stamped and then they bring it back to us to prove that it's been done.
What brought you to the gorge today then?
Mates from Cheddar, originally from Cheddar.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have any mates. So
Hey.
You don't have any mates. That's
a bit harsh, isn't it?
It's mate.
All have mates. You're his mate, aren't you?
Before leaving, the driver can't resist checking out the police car.
What engine is it?
What, that one? 1.9 turbo diesel, chipped.
Couldn't get away.
Really? Like to see you try. I'd like to see you try.
You're being serious?
I'm being serious. Right, have a safe trip, all right? Take care. Look after yourself.
We are trying to educate them, the actual car enthusiasts who want to come here and talk about their cars. And these are the ones we got no problems with. It's the ones that drive around like lunatics.
People will come from miles around to park and pose with their pride and joy, even in the dark.
Are you all local or have you all come from far afield?
Wells.
Street. Oh, so you're fairly local. Oh, we better let
Thankfully,
them go.
these visitors are
Clearly we don't want to
responsible
get too close.
and sympathetic to the problem the locals are having.
What was that?
Park up, chat, do whatever we like, and we're not really causing a nuisance to anyone else, unless you get the odd one or two that act like idiots. Anywhere that attracts loads of people, you're going to get people that want to impress the others, and that's really where antisocial behaviour comes from, doesn't it? You know, wheel spinning and going fast and all that sort of stuff.
Over the past weeks, the neighbourhood team has been a regular presence at the gorge, talking to drivers about sensible motoring, and officers seem to be making inroads.
We haven't really had to slam down the penalty notices to anybody. We haven't had to arrest anybody.
The fact that there's not had to be as many tickets given out shows over the last few weekends that we've been here. The education's clearly kicking in, and actually tonight has been fairly peaceful.
It's time to call it a night. But before the officers head back to base, something's caught Ben's eye. A Toyota GT86 in mint condition.
It's quite nice, it's quite fast, it's quite sporty, and it's a bit of a go-kart to be fair, but something I wouldn't be able to afford.
Neighbourhood policing is a mixture of toughness, fairness and caring. And demonstrating these abilities to the public makes our neighbourhood safe and people feel secure. Until next time, evening all. The friendly, caring Bobby pounding the beats has always been the hallmark of British policing.
Fantastic. This has been all right, my friend.
And has even been immortalised on film by the fictional Dixon of Dock Green.
Today's
Today's neighbourhood police teams continue that tradition, but also tackle the root causes of crime head-on by targeting known hotspots.
Unlucky.
Stamping down on antisocial behaviour.
Arresting you for a public order offence.
And waging war on illegal drugs.
I can smell cannabis already.
In this new series of Neighbourhood Blues, we follow the police men and women of Somerset as they continue their quest to make our streets a safer place. Coming up, the clock is ticking for a suspected drink driver.
This is your last chance now, all right? Because you're running out of time.
A group of unruly teenagers caused disruption on the street.
Raised up her arm, fist clenched and brought it back down on top of the mirror.
And hunting down crack cocaine and knives in the dead of night.
Big up, Shaq. Big up. Free shot.
The message that drinking and driving wrecks lives is one that's been hammered home for years. Yet it seems a lot of people are still ignoring it. Every year in England and Wales, 70,000 people are caught drink driving. Tonight, Jim Murray is on his way to a village halfway between Bridgewater and Weston-super-Mare. He's on his way to help another neighbourhood officer arrest a van driver suspected of drink driving.
So I'm just going to pop over there, drop him off a breath box, see if I can be of any assistance. If he arrests him, obviously he's going to need another officer to transport him back to the custody unit.
The suspect is alleged to have been involved in a fight in a pub before leaving in his van. Moments later, he was pulled over by neighbourhood officer Dave Allen.
Obviously, I've seen him drive into the close. He parked the van up, obviously got out the driver's side. Smells of intoxicants. And obviously
no worries.
Jim's first task is to breathalyse the suspect.
Just place your mouth around the mouthpiece. Take a nice deep breath and blow in it until I tell you to stop, OK? It's going to take all the air out of your lungs, all right? Nice deep breath.
All right, if you do fail to provide, that's offence in itself, OK, and you'll be arrested, all right? So obviously it is in your
No,
interest.
let me hold it. Just blow. Go on. We'll sort it out. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. It says it's got enough. All right, and what it'll do is it'll tell me on the screen whether it thinks you're over or under, all right?
Moments later, the device shows a reading of 72. He's well over the legal limit to drive.
OK, you failed the roadside breath test. OK, so as a result of that, I am arresting you on suspicion of drink driving.
Jim locks up the man's van before he takes him to the police station to be put on another, specially calibrated breathalyzer machine.
72 is twice the legal drink drive limit, but that's only a roadside breath test. It's not evidential, so what we'll do is we'll have to take him back to the station and put him on an evidential breath test just to find out exactly how much alcohol he does have in his breath.
Dave is thankful for Jim's support. Arresting anybody suspected of being drunk can be a risky business.
People, especially when they're intoxicated, can be unpredictable. So yeah, it's sort of safety in numbers, really. He clearly didn't like the fact that I'd stopped him. Initially, yeah, he was quite uncooperative, sorry. Wouldn't give me his details. And now obviously we know why. Potentially he was being a bit uncooperative because he failed.
It's a 25-minute drive to the police station. All the while, the man's alcohol level in his body is falling, or so he believes. Before being tested again, the suspected drink driver is booked in. His details and all the information about the offence are taken.
How many arrests, please? 2100 hours.
But there's already a problem.
It's going to be 25 now. Well, he said 2100, didn't he? So that's what you got put down, please. 2100.
I put down what I put down.
That was just before, but...
You'll take the now?
Well, I'm not, because I can see what the time is up there.
Well, you can see what the time is up there, but you put the time down wrong first, didn't you?
Doesn't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't.
People make mistakes when they say things. It's not a big issue.
The man is beginning to grasp at any straw in the hope of finding a defence to avoid his drink driving rap.
So you arrested me at 9 o'clock?
No,
it's
I
only
didn't.
8:30 now.
No,
That's
I
what
didn't.
you said on
Yeah,
there.
I did say that initially.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Just you can see my clock is showing the wrong time.
Yeah. Well, that's your problem, not mine.
The man's ear is a mess, but it's not his hearing that's preventing him answering the custody sergeant's questions.
Unemployed? Or are you employed?
You're gonna have to wait half hour to ask me the questions because he arrested me at 9 o'clock, and it's only 8:30 now. If you wait half hour, I'll answer the questions after 9 o'clock.
You're going to answer any of my questions at all?
After 9 o'clock, I will, because that was the time I was arrested.
Just keep your hands out your pocket for me.
Oh, right, am I in jail, am I?
No, you're in custody.
I'm in custody.
Yeah.
Right, so I haven't been convicted or nothing, or...
Not yet?
No.
If he is convicted, the man could end up in jail. As well as an obligatory driving ban, drink driving carries up to a 6-month prison sentence.
If you're telling lies, saying that I
No,
was
he made a simple mistake, didn't he?
Listen to me, all right? You're getting completely sidetracked on something which is not relevant.
He said I was arrested
Listen to
at
me.
9 o'clock.
I asked the officer what time he arrested. The officer made a mistake and said 9 o'clock, which I
Yeah.
queried, and it was at 8 o'clock. And there's no big issue. There's not an issue.
You're conspiring against me.
No, we're not.
I think
The matter of what time you arrested is irrelevant. What you blow on our breath test machine is relevant.
I think he's obviously worried that he's going to be over the limit, so he's trying everything he can to try and get off the charge, I suppose. He's also going on the fact about this 9 o'clock arrest business, trying to muddy the waters and saying he wants to speak to a solicitor about it before he gives a breath test and all the rest of it. He's trying all the delay tactics, basically.
The breath test machine is called an intoxilyzer and requires 2 specimens of the man's breath. But first, Jim has to go through a set of questions which are an important part of the procedure.
Okay, have you in the last 20 minutes consumed any alcohol?
I have, yeah.
You have? What have you consumed? In the last 20 minutes, mind?
Yeah.
All right, you were arrested 50 minutes ago.
Yeah.
All right, so in the last 20 minutes, have you consumed any alcohol?
I have, yeah.
What have you consumed?
I've consumed some brandy.
So, somehow, the man reckons he's drunk some brandy in the last 20 minutes, despite being stuck in the police station. Find out later if his delaying tactics pay off.
Steve, Steve, have a seat. Have a seat.
Whether it's users robbing their dealers or turf wars between rival drug gangs, violence tends to go hand in hand with drug dealing. Without the law to turn to, violence is often the only way to settle disputes. In Weston-super-Mare, a recent spike in knife crime figures is believed to be related to the town's illegal drugs trade.
Weston-super-Mare has its challenges. It can encourage visitors into the town who aren't here to live and who don't care about the community, so they might try and cause us harm. So they're the ones we try and tackle. People that are coming in and causing any of the community's harm in relation to drug dealing, violent crime, anything like that, then we will look to take them out nice and early.
It's 10 o'clock, and a report has come in of a fight between some youths with knives. Two of them have been seen entering an address in a residential street near the town centre.
Yeah, I don't think we're going in the address.
Extraordinarily, it's the same address that's been targeted for a late-night drugs raid this very evening.
Yeah, Sarge, I'm going to do this job, which I think is where you're going later. These males aren't in the street now, but may have gone back into the address. What do you want me to do? Monday. All right, I'll see what I can do.
It's a very delicate situation for Neighbourhood Officer John Phippen and PCSO Justin Robbie. They have to respond to the reports of the knife fight, yet they don't want to compromise the drug raid planned for later on.
Top floor one?
They've decided to go in. But there's another complication. A group of people in a nearby alleyway.
Keep an eye on what's going on there for me, bud. None of them match the description, do they? Yeah, we got an open door.
John's found the front door is open, but with reports that the men were armed with knives, rather than going on his own, he waits for backup, which quickly arrives in the shape of the sergeant, Mark Jenkinson.
Just to see someone looking out the window and ducking. So what do you want to do?
My concern is that someone might be seriously injured, bearing in mind his knives are involved. There isn't any blood, however, based on what we've got, we're going to basically enter the address to preserve life.
The officers are armed with taser stun guns.
It's the police, mate. Open the door. Put your hands where I can see them, bud.
What's going on?
We had a report of people in the street fighting with knives, mate. Who else is here, mate?
Just me and my dad and my mate, what?
Do you mind if we pop in and check the other person?
The flat is up a flight of stairs.
Were you two fighting in the street or getting laid with each other?
No,
people matching your description have been...
No one in the flat is admitting anything to do with the trouble earlier.
3892 control. Can I have 2 persons checks, please?
So you guys haven't got any injuries at all then? That is the worry, is that when we get a report, despite whatever history you got with the police, if you've got 2 people fighting in the street with big knives, we need to make sure that everyone's all right.
John and the Sarge are taking a softly approach, so as not to arouse any suspicions that the police's real focus later tonight is drugs. The 2 lads in the flat have been checked. One of them is a prolific local criminal.
You've had your sort of thrill of knives, haven't you?
No.
The scars would suggest
who's been involved with drugs and knives before, including having his forearm and voice box slashed.
Papa, Golly, Scruggs, Lord, Leonard, Big Man, Freedom Man, there.
Handshakes.
So what was that?
That's no.
Oh, right, okay. Is that like gang speak? Mind the cat. Mind the cat. With your gangster style. Mind the cat.
Right, if you're happy, go on. If it was you two, don't be so stupid, yeah?
See you, mate.
The cops are on the retreat. Everyone's happy the visit passed without incident, and hopefully without suspicions being raised about tonight's raid.
Both males have denied having been in the street. This story is supported by the one's father. And hopefully that'll be the end of it. We'll obviously treat these calls very seriously, particularly in light of the summer that we've had in Weston with a lot of stabbings, drug-related. So, you know, on another day this could have been a lot worse.
Less than an hour later, the neighbourhood officers are being briefed for the drugs raid alongside the catch team, the people who actually do the dirty work of bashing down doors and catching the suspected criminals.
The objective is always to get in as quickly as possible, because when we're dealing with drugs, it can be small amounts that can be flushed down toilets or you know, got rid of. So we need to get in nice and quickly and as quietly, believe it or not, as possible.
It's a residential area which is causing significant issues for the community. There's a number of complaints constantly about the constant visitors, the street looting and the violence. And in relation to the violence, last night we were called to that location because of people fighting with bricks, and tonight we've been called to 2 people outside fighting with knives. So it clearly is right at the intelligence, and that's why we're doing the warrant today.
Later, we see what happens when the police turn up at the suspected drug dealer's flat for the second time tonight. In Britain, there are more than 5,000 accidents every year in which someone is killed or injured that involve a driver who's over the limit. Some can have devastating effects on the victims and their families, but they can also change the lives of those selfish or stupid enough to drive when they're not fit to do so. Earlier, a van driver was about to be put on an evidential breath test machine to find out if he was drinking and driving. He's now ready to blow a sample, and the machine is made ready for him.
Okay, it's a clean mouthpiece. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that onto the machine here.
The machine requires 2 samples of breath. The one with the lower reading will be taken as evidence. Failure to provide the samples is an offence.
You must provide a specimen within 3 minutes. When I tell you to do so, I want you to relax. Okay. Take a deep breath and place the mouthpiece in your mouth.
I can't see it because I'm being filmed.
And make a good seal around it with your lips. Take a nice deep breath, as deep as you can, and blow out. All right? You're not blowing. Listen to me. You're not blowing.
I am blowing.
All right. Take your hand away. Move your hand down. Put your mouth on there. All right, and blow nice and hard until I tell you to stop. Blow. Got to blow harder than that. Harder than that. Harder than that. Listen to me. Listen to me. You're failing to provide at the moment.
I'm not. I'm blowing as hard as I can.
You're not blowing as hard as you can.
I am.
No, you're not. I can see you're not.
All right.
All right, have another go. Right, nice deep breath. Okay. Take your hand away from there. That's it. Now blow out nice and hard. That's it. Keep going. No, you stopped again. Listen.
I haven't stopped.
Well, you have. What you've done is you've breathed in. All right. What you've done is you've gone a little tiny soft blow and then you stopped. All right.
Have I?
Yeah, that's what it's telling me. It's all right. This is your last chance now. All right, because you're running out of time. Right, you've got to be quick.
Yeah.
You've got 15 seconds left. Go. Blow. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You stopped again. You stopped again. Unfortunately, that's time now, I'm afraid. All right. So you failed the procedure.
Blowing into the machine isn't difficult, even for people with respiratory problems like asthma, which the man all of a sudden claims he has.
Are there any medical or other reasons why you have not provided 2 specimens of breath?
Apart from being asthmatic, then that's the only reason why they shouldn't have come through.
It's not uncommon when we do arrest people for drink driving for them to be a bit difficult in custody and try and come up, you know, with some excuses as to why they can't provide.
Steve, have a seat. Have a seat.
He was something else, to be honest. I've never known anyone quite as awkward as him. So we just have to see what's next.
Because he's been unable to give a breath specimen because he has asthma, he says, the man is being given a second chance.
He's provided a specimen at the roadside, perfectly okay. He's claiming he's asthmatic, so just to negate that, we're gonna go for the option of blood instead.
If he fails or refuses this time, he'll be charged with failing to supply a sample.
Do you now consent to provide a specimen of blood now, which will be taken by the healthcare professional? You don't have options. It's either a yes, you will provide a specimen, or no, you won't. After a lot of to-ing and fro-ing, he did say he would provide, albeit reluctantly. He wanted to take the blood himself and not let the nurse take the blood.
Yeah. And you were able to give a specimen.
The amount of blood the nurse was able to take was insufficient for an evidential sample. The man's led to a cell, where he'll stay until the custody sergeant decides he's sobered up enough to be released.
Saney was offering every possible excuse that he could to try and get away with the offence, failing to provide a sample of blood by moving his arm around so the nurse couldn't take a sufficient sample.
Failure to provide is an offence, which carries an automatic driving ban of at least 12 months and a large fine. It's often dealt with by the courts even more severely than drink driving itself. When he appeared in court, the man was found not to be suffering from any medical conditions. He was found guilty of failing to provide and was handed a 36-month driving ban. He was also found guilty of assault in the pub earlier that night. He was ordered to carry out 100 hours of unpaid work and given a 6-month restraining order. For Dave, he's an hour at least nearer the end of his shift.
So tell me, Dave, why did your watch say 9 o'clock?
I've got no idea.
What does it say now?
It now says 10 o'clock.
Now it says 20 past 10.
20 past 10.
A recent spate of incidents involving knives has been worrying the residents of Weston-super-Mare. Earlier, we saw how the neighbourhood police have stepped up their response to those concerns and are now preparing to raid a flat where they suspect drugs and weapons might be found.
And when the guys have gone today to this disorder, there's a group of 6 people waiting in this alleyway. As soon as police have arrived, they've dispersed. So we can only suggest that they're waiting to get drugs.
Unusually for this kind of operation, it's taking place at night. The idea is that they will be able to approach the property without being seen before any drugs get flushed down the toilet.
We're just going to hang on this alleyway here.
It's essential they're not spotted outside.
Turn this off.
And all lights are out.
It's outside.
It will be down to the catch team to gain entry to the flat, with the neighbourhood officers following quickly behind them.
Awesome.
The order to strike is given. The team are taking no chances and are armed with taser stun guns.
Right, taser is drawn, guys, yeah? At this time, you're all nicked.
You're all under arrest at the moment, all right? Possession with intent to supply.
The timing couldn't have been better. The unsuspecting occupants are in the process of packaging some drugs. One of the catch team spotted drugs being thrown out of an open window as the team burst in.
He threw it out the window, I saw him as I came in the room. Yeah, fine. Grey tracksuit, stand up. I can't even get up. Stand still.
Looking around the room, there are more signs that the neighbourhood team have arrived in the nick of time. This cannabis is being prepared for sale. And it's not only cannabis that's turning up.
South gram of cocaine, mate, personal for the weekend.
A quantity of what looks to be cocaine is found on this lad.
Proper obo today, innit?
Sorry, Dick.
Say again? Proper obo. Operation.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did, mate. It was a nice running, but I got me.
Yeah, same, mate. I thought, whoa, see this guy coming with these things, mate. Oh, what's going on? Going through these riot shields and that. This guy has got days up. Whoa. Get to the floor.
The 2 lads are being transferred to the local police station for questioning. Meanwhile, where the drugs were seen thrown through an open window, a search is going on outside to retrieve them. Mark is on the case.
Oh yeah, look. What we think's happened is because the window's open at such an angle, as he's panicked and launched it out, it's actually hit the window itself, and a lot of the drugs have broken and separated. So we're trying to work our way around to pick up all the pieces, as it were. That's another bit there. Yeah.
Mark's also found something in wraps of silver foil that's even more alarming. Highly potent crack cocaine.
It looks like it's crack cocaine, which is a particularly addictive drug that we're doing the utmost to tackle. The residents tell us about it, and we're here to act on it. It's rare that we do a warrant at this time of night, but it proves that it was the right decision.
Crack is a solid form of cocaine, which can be smoked for an instant hit, and it doesn't take much of it.
Very, very small amounts of drugs are worth a lot of money, and what we've recovered there will create a massive dent in their business. It will put them out of business, if you like. It will stop them dealing from this address, and it'll have such a positive impact on the local residents and the community as a whole.
Back in the flat, the others that were here when the police called the first time this evening are also under arrest and waiting for transport to the Nick.
Round 2, they got me again. Here we go, off to the big house.
I'll get that restaurant done.
Same.
See that as it is for us, please.
After the police's cursory search of the place, a drugs dog is going to find anything they might have missed. He soon finds a bit of crack in some cracks. Inside, the flat is an Aladdin's cave of stuff related to substance abuse.
Numerous pieces of silver foil ripped on the bed, scales and green vegetable matter.
And already behind bars, a colourful parrot.
Man, come for drugs now, fam. Ain't no drugs here, mad, but you know what I mean? This is a homely home. Big up Shams, big up the rest, big up Vi, big up John, Cullen, Liam. Busted my door down though.
Drugs are being found everywhere. There are about 20 £10 bags in the cabinet under the TV, and more on the floor behind the TV.
Behind the telly is handfuls of green vegetable matter.
The police have had to collate lots of evidence to persuade a magistrate to issue today's search warrant. Much of it has come from the concerned neighbours who have complained about what's been going on. They've seen firsthand the deals being done outside the flat. Some of the suspected proceeds have been found behind the bed one of the lads was on.
Approximately £395 in cash. The lad who's been arrested and was laying there is only sort of 16, so rather a lot of cash for a 16-year-old person to have in his pocket.
After the drugs, the weapons. There are numerous fearsome-looking knives.
Seized a lock knife, which is illegal in itself as a fence weapon. Got a kitchen knife and this little beauty under the tucked under the table. We come in very dynamically, kick the doors down, straight in, lots of shouting and screaming. This is the reason why. Sharp knives, so that's the reason why we're coming in hard and fast.
The van has returned to transport the remaining 3 prisoners to the police station. But the neighbourhood team's work isn't over yet. Find out what happens later when they pay a 3rd visit to the address and uncover another stash of potentially deadly weapons.
Kids on the rampage, causing criminal damage and vandalising local neighbourhoods, have a huge impact on the quality of people's lives. And if not dealt with quickly and effectively, it can lead to people permanently living in fear of crime. Cracking down on those youngsters responsible for causing such misery is a major priority for the neighbourhood police.
If there is one thing worse than bored teenagers looking for something to do, It's a gang of bored teenagers looking for trouble.
It is an ongoing problem, really, where the kids are out, they're not supervised. They don't seem to have a respect for people or property, and we need to try and nip it in the bud and change their behaviour before we start dealing with them criminally and get them on the right road, really, get them on the right path.
In Bath, 4 parked cars have been damaged right outside their owners' houses. They've all had their wing mirrors ripped off in a mindless act of vandalism.
We believe there's a local group living just across the back of these houses, really, that we've had quite a bit of involvement with. So we've got a good idea who it is, yeah.
Neighbourhood officer Mark Hodder has come to see some of the victims.
So just from the start then.
As I looked out the window, I was noticing children going past. I noticed a girl in grey topple hoodie, raised up her arm, fist clenched, and brought it back down on top of the mirror. I was more really, I was stood sort of here like that, like this. I just looked out, and as she'd done it.
Unusually, it was a group of girls responsible for the mayhem.
When they'd done it, they ran off and they joined up some boys on the other side.
Right. So when you saw the girl hit the wing mirror, can you describe her to me?
She's sort of short, like darkish hair, I think. 13, 14 maybe.
Yeah.
The average age of people who commit criminal damage is only 14 to 15, far younger than most other crimes. And in both males and females, the habit declines after that age. Not that that fact is of any comfort to this car owner.
I'll go and get me phone and we'll take a picture of it.
Yeah, okay, good.
Mark is getting photographic evidence of the damage, which was clearly done maliciously.
I seen her last weekend. Hang like that.
Malicious damage is often an expression of frustration directed at middle-class property, which people find so hard to understand.
It's just mindless damage with kids just out at night, just getting up to sort of misbehaviour, really.
Mark goes to see another victim of the unruly girls. A woman whose week-old company Audi has also been de-wing mirrored.
Well, we haven't tried to put
Her
it back on
partner
it.
heard what happened and on seeing the damage, chased after them.
We were speaking to them for a while, just trying to understand really why you do it. And, and well, obviously they were, well, it wasn't us. And just kind of see.
A little later, after returning home, the group of girls came back past, and he did his best to get some pictures to identify them.
I think that they realised at that stage that they were kind of hiding their faces and showing their backs and like dancing down the road as if they kind of knew we were trying to take pictures of them.
And they were like waving their arms in the air, like cheering and yeah, and like really happy with what they'd done. I was just stood there like, how pointless is that?
We did the right thing, call the police. Yeah, don't really get into any sort of argument with him, no. Especially when they're in a group like that, yeah.
That kind of like damage, that's just petty and stupid, isn't it? Like
They just got no respect at all.
No.
They just haven't learnt what respect is and how to behave, yeah.
But it's only little stuff like, I don't know, the financial cost as well, because then if someone obviously gets their wing mirror knocked off, then you've got to go and pay for it to get fixed, and it just doesn't go through their minds that these kind of actions have effects on other people.
The broken wing mirrors aren't the only incident of antisocial behaviour in the area, and they are having a cumulative effect on the residents.
personally, it's more about, you know, feeling safe in my own home and having 2 children living in here and seeing that there's children out there with such little respect in the area, causing this kind of damage to things, you know, breaking into my garden, which is meant to be my safe haven. It's made me feel quite vulnerable.
I mean, you know, we're working with the school, with all the sort of local youth projects, the parents, doing all we can with them, really, and they get together in a gang, and that's when their behaviour just, they just egg each other on, yeah.
Thanks to the photos and descriptions of the offenders, Mark was able to identify the 2 ringleaders.
One of the vehicles is a very expensive vehicle that's costs a lot of money to repair, so yeah, we can't just let it go just with a telling off. You know, they need to know it's wrong, and they need to know the sort of consequences of their actions, really. Yeah. The option that we're looking at really for this sort of damage would be refer them to a youth panel where they can look at the whole circumstances of the young person and their background and see what intervention needs to be put in to change behaviour.
In the end, both girls were issued with youth cautions, as well as being referred to the youth offending team. And happily, antisocial behaviour in the area is no longer the problem it was. Eradicating illegal drugs is proving to be a never-ending task for the police. A recent crackdown in Weston-super-Mare involving a series of high-profile raids has shown many of the people they've arrested all too quickly bounce back into business. Earlier, we saw the Neighbourhood team raid an address where a large amount of cannabis and crack cocaine was seized. Some of the occupants were charged with dealing Class A drugs.
Round 2, they got me again.
It's round 3 for tonight's team, who are preparing to pay another visit to the very same address.
Tonight we are going to execute a misuse of drugs act warrant at an address not too far away from the station. It's an address we've previously executed a warrant at.
We arrested 6 individuals. However, literally, I think that was on the Wednesday. By the Friday, we got intelligence that they're back at it.
Just as concerning as the crack cocaine, the discovery of a number of offensive weapons.
Last week, a couple of guys went into this address to buy crack cocaine, heroin. One of the guys was shot in the hand with an air rifle, which caused significant injuries to his hand, where the pellets essentially separated into 8 in his hand and broke most of the bones in his hand. The guy who was shot has been open and said, we were there to buy heroin and crack cocaine. He's got lots of warning markers. He takes legal highs, and the last time that he took legal highs, he stabbed himself 7 times in the throat and put an knife through his arm. It is really unpredictable. So when you deal with him, last time he was absolutely fine, but if he's taken drugs, he will be totally unhinged and he will need to be dealt with properly.
Illegal drugs and the violence that is often associated with them are among the most common causes of complaints to the neighbourhood police. For Inspector Sharon Bennett, tonight's raid has a great chance to show that the police are taking people's concerns seriously.
We've given a huge message, haven't we, to the community, to drug dealers, to everybody, to say, we're out there, you never know we're going to come through your door. But the biggest thing is the public who don't see us every day outside their house, who are giving us information and giving us intelligence, they think we don't do anything with it. Yes, we do. We gather it. Once we've got enough, we will get that warrant and we'll go through that door. When you're in position, you call the strike, we'll go from the nick.
Great, as soon as I'm in cross street, I'll call you forward.
Yeah, no problem. We're all ready and bust up.
Not only are tonight's quarry suspected of being involved in drugs while still on bail, but they're doing it less than a quarter of a mile from the police station. So it only takes a moment for the team to arrive at the address.
Okay, strike.
This is it.
They now need to get in quick before any drugs are thrown away.
I can smell cannabis already. Smell cannabis. Stinks of cannabis, in fact.
Three lads are in the first room.
Right, at the moment you're all being detained because we've got a warrant to search the premises, so you're all going to be searched and detained whilst we do that, OK?
2 more people are in another room. The cops suspect something has been thrown out of the window.
You can already see one potential bag out there with other things inside that might have been thrown out. You need to try and get to that quite quickly, because if it's dry, it'll indicate it's just gone out the window.
Outside, those suspicions are proved right. Some bags of drugs are found.
I can see that they are deals of cannabis. There's 5 there, so it's about £50 worth.
And, disturbingly, some gun shells.
There's a casing of what looks to be a 9mm round. However, at the tip of the round, it's rubber inside, so I believe it may be a blank. So I'll get a firearms officer to come out and have a look and ascertain what that is.
Back inside, The lads are complaining about how many times they've been gate crashed by the police.
Got me 3 times, mate. I swear down. 3 times. 3 times. The lads beat.
A drugs dog is here to sniff out any more illegal substances.
The drugs dog has come in and done a cursory search of this room, has already indicated to there being drugs down in this bottom corner with some cash, has indicated to the air rifle weapon in the corner here, and has also indicated that there may be something in this bottom drawer down here. We've got drugs on the bed as well. When we came in, the phones were ringing, quite busy.
In the living room, the 2 main targets of tonight's operation are here, and along with all the other occupants, are being arrested.
I'm arresting you on suspicion of possession of intent to supply drugs, all right? Where's your shoes? Hang on, stay there.
If you want to go with this officer here and come with me.
The search has uncovered something very unnerving. Illegal stun guns.
We found what we think are 2 tasers inside the room. If you turn it around, there's the metal prongs there.
Stun guns are classified as firearms, and anyone caught in possession of one could be put in prison for up to 10 years. And there's more.
We've also got a high-powered air rifle here, and in the corner we've got like a bow and arrow going on.
And even a handgun, which may or may not be a prohibited weapon.
So I've just requested from the Force Incident Manager we get a firearms unit here to make safe what we got here, because we're not experts, we don't know what we're handling. They'll make them safe and make sure that we can carry on searching safely.
On examination by firearms officers, the rifle was found to be a legal air-powered weapon. The pistol was also a legal air weapon. However, the stun guns, disguised as torches, were illegal and were confiscated.
Several of the individuals today we've arrested, we actually carried out a warrant here only a matter of a few weeks ago, about 5 weeks ago. And that might seem frustrating, but they're currently on bail and we're looking to build that case. But it doesn't mean that we just don't listen and we don't carry on. If they're carrying on dealing drugs, then we'll come back and we'll keep putting that door in until they stop.
Despite all the late-night work, no charges were brought in relation to the illegal stun guns, as there was no evidence to prove who owned them. However, all the occupants arrested in the earlier raid were found guilty of drug offences and were dealt with at court. The lad with the cocaine was fined over £200 for drugs possession. The main suspect pleaded guilty to dealing drugs and, amongst other offences, was sentenced to 9 years behind bars. His dad pleaded guilty to allowing the property to be used for the dealing of Class B drugs and was given a 6-month suspended prison sentence. Dishing out cautions to unruly kids damaging people's cars is a last resort for the neighbourhood police. A far better alternative is to tackle the root of the problem and find a way of keeping bored kids off the streets. In Weston-super-Mare, the neighbourhood team, along with the local council, have come up with a plan to do just that, called Alive After 5.
Got an Alive After 5 campaign this summer, which involves martial arts across the high street. Another week, rugby, Bath rugby. We're hoping to get down and work with some of the young people when they come in.
Enjoying yourself?
Alive After 5 runs from 5 o'clock, and youngsters are invited to come along and try out loads of sports and activities.
We've turned what is Town Square into a bit of a sports area. We've got different partners here. We've got the fire service, the ambulance service, the police service, all down here giving out bits and pieces to try and tell people about what we're doing and trying to get people to just enjoy their town.
The scheme allows officers to show off their fun side, and PCSO Kimo Jaju takes this opportunity to get to know the kids on his beat.
Most of the calls that we respond to either have to do with antisocial behavior or youths doing certain things. So by interacting with them, we discuss with them things that they should do and things that are not acceptable.
Finger puppets keep the kids entertained, whilst fingerprinting gives them an insight into the police service.
Some of them are from all the way from Bristol. So by coming here, at least they've seen the friendlier side, of policing.
One of the most popular activities is the football, with players from the town's football club, Weston-super-Mare FC.
Coming down here today to offer sort of football activities. We've got a shooting net that we've got over there, where they've got to try and get the ball through the hole. We've got a speed gun that's just here, where they've got to try and hit the ball as hard as they can. I think it's just for a chance for them to actually get involved in activities and maybe try something that they've not tried before. Obviously, some of the kids, haven't necessarily got a lot, finding themselves in trouble, and sometimes not through their own fault as well. But I think when they get involved in sport especially, and that it gives them something that they can do that channels it into being positive rather than negative.
It's all about showing young people that there are better things to do than hanging around the streets, getting into trouble, and that they can have pride in Weston.
We think it's really important that we can provide them something to come and enjoy their town with. This is very much the start of what we hope to be our whole long 12, 18 months of a Live After 5 activities.
We've seen that the neighbourhood police are well prepared to deal with a wide variety of crime, from wayward teenagers to crack users and escaped prisoners. As a public service, it's something we should all be thankful for.